on my profile. I am a dental technician, and I've been working in the dental industry for quite some time now. But I do have a very broad perspective of the industry. Um, I am the trainer for 3Disc, which is an American scanner company, intraoral scanner. And well, thank you, Basim, and Dental Labor for inviting me to this event. I'm very pleased and honored to be here. And well, I hope you enjoy the presentation. So let's get on it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, sure, very.
Okay, great. Well, each time I give a lecture in the past and as I'm doing right now, I like to speak about general topics like what is technology? I believe that everybody has an idea of what technology is, and that's no different from the dental industry. So please follow me. This is a definition that I found. It's the first definition I found of technology in the net. It's to just type in technology in Google, and you will see this definition. But I believe it's a very accurate definition. Technology is a noun, and it's the application of a scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in the industry. Everybody has an idea of what technology is. For me, technology is progress that makes my life easier, for example. I don't know if everybody in the audience can identify this. This is a telephone. Can you believe it? I don't even know when this telephone was developed, but right now, if anybody has an item like this, is a collector's item or something that is not, if it's working, it's a miracle. The difference now is that we have not only a telephone, we also have a music player, a video player, a GPS, a calendar, email. So this is a good example of on how evolution is making our lives easier day by day. Well, no, not always, but that's the common concept. Everybody now has a cell phone, and everybody right now can be located a lot easier than before, and well, you know what I mean. Another good example of technology that I like to share with you is the VHS. I mean, I was born with the VHS, and I remember when we wanted to watch a movie, and you had to rewind it. You had to. It was a very analogical way of watching a movie. Whereas now, you have different digital platforms like Netflix, in which you have unlimited content, and there is no physical element. You just have to choose your movie and or your documentary or the content you like, and you just go ahead and watch it. So I believe that that's another example of how technology has changed our everyday life. I could not live without Netflix right now. So all this general concept brings me to the topic of what is dentistry? I mean, what is technology in dentistry? How it has evolved, because obviously there is a lot of technology put into the dental industry. This is an analogical impression tray with I believe it's alginate, and this would be the tools that we use nowadays to acquire the data from the patient. I believe you all know what this is. This is an intraoral scanner, and with it, you just take the impression of the mouth of the patient. Another good example of how technology has changed the industry, or is changing currently the industry in nowadays. Also, it has changed the way that the dental technicians work. Um, I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe more and more dental labs which are working only analogical are suffering because of the evolution of technology. I used to work with like this a long time ago, and you know the way that technology has evolved. Now a dental technician usually works like this. This means you have more control over the tools. You can see the colors more clearly. You have exact parameters. And well, it's just another example on how technology has changed our lives. Also, needless to say that technology reached the labs earlier than it reached the dental offices. Currently, most of the labs are equipped with scanners and CAD programs, which make and also nowadays labs are becoming the mentors or the support for the clinics. As putting it simple, labs are advising the clinics on how to do things nowadays because they were earlier in adapting this technology. So now this brings me to the topic that why go digital? I'm sure you all have an idea of what I'm going to talk about, but well, anyhow, I will go through through some points that might be interesting for you to think about if you're currently thinking of diving into this current technology. The first topic that I would like to talk about, it's a very trendy topic nowadays, especially due to the pandemic. Many studies and many obvious reasons why intraoral scanning in clinics and in overall the digital workflow is more hygienic than the traditional workflow. You can have there are tons of studies in the internet. I just picked a quote from a study made in 2019, which says that traditional impression techniques require handling multiple items, including the tray, chewing waxes, impression, materials, and associated appliances. These handling factors are eliminated with digital impressions. This basically means that when you're using digital technology, the handling of the objects and the human contact is less. So this means that the transmission of these diseases in the chain of value from starting from the dentist with the impression trays, following the transmission of the models, the casting of the models in the lab, all that can help diseases to spread very easily, and especially again talking about the pandemic, people more and more and customers and patients don't really like people manipulating things in the mouth, and also the way that the digital workflow works. It avoids and reduces the risk of contamination very, very much. So I believe that this right now is a very highly interesting point for people to think about when they choose what to do in their, or the trend they need to follow in their clinics. Another reason to go digital is accuracy. For me, accuracy is the main reason why I would use a digital scanner or intraoral scanner or work digitally. Uh, Many in the best case scenario, a casted gypsum model is around 300 plus microns accurate, which for some time it was okay. It was the way of handling the impressions that we were used to. We were used to assuming these lack of these distortions between the data on the mouth and the data that we acquire from the mouth. Nowadays, scanners can go up to 47.5 microns total accuracy in a full arch, which makes it a lot more efficient, and also you avoid repetitions, you avoid retakes, and basically everything works better if you work more accurate. And especially in dentistry, accuracy is a very, very big big issue to consider when you are working. Again, then we have patient comfort. Patients are asking more and more for digital technology. They know it's there, they know it's in the industry, and me myself, I would not visit a dentist who is working with analogical impression trays currently. You avoid the gag reflex. It's faster. It's cleaner. It's more user friendly. It's I believe that it's all improvements. Another good reason for people to, or for dentists to dive into the digital technology is the case acceptance. With today's tools, case acceptance has become a big issue. Right now, you can make a really clear diagnostic of a live patient with the different tools that are available. In this case, I just put a simple workflow on how a dentist can scan the patient. The dentist can design how the final prosthetics is going to look like, and show the patient so that the patient accepts the treatment before it is even made. This is very important because you do it in one visit. The first visit, you scan the patient and you propose the final design. When the patient accepts the case, and you can even design the restoration or the mock-up with the patient sitting there right there in your office. So I believe it's also a very nice way of explaining, and it's very educational. You can show the patient live how his or her mouth looks like in that moment. And then that this picture or this workflow can work in a big variety of ways. But the most common one would be sending this proposal to the lab with the impression, so that the lab can align the impression and the picture and design the final restoration according to, again, what the patient accepted. So this is another good example on how digital impressions and digital workflows work for our own benefit. It's time saving. It's proven that digital impressions take less time to make, and also very important, due to the accuracy of these techniques, the retakes are reduced very considerably, and it becomes a time in which you don't even have to make remakes. You're sure that when you are working with digital, you know it's very you know that it's going to be viable, and it's going to be a good work. In some cases, especially even with monolithic restorations, you do not even need a model. You just send the file to the lab. The lab recreates and mills, for example, our zirconia full contour crown, and you just have to place it, glue it, and check the occlusion if you like, and then the patient is ready to go. So it also makes life easier in terms of time. And let's not forget that time is money in the clinic. Another good reason is storage. Legally, dentists have to store the models in somewhere in the cabinet or in a storage room for depending on the country, for some period of time. That can take 2 years, 3 years. While if you're using digital technology, that storage is not physical. You can anytime you want, you can regain that impression from the cloud, and it's not going to lose its capacity. It's not going to lose the quality. So it's another good way of making sure that the impressions you take are stored in a great way, because and they lose the quality after some time. So this is another good way of storing the data. And again, instead of using that box for and I've seen that box for storing models, you can use it and put an extra seat, and gain more money and have a better business also, and a better return of investment. Let me just speak a little bit on how the scanners have evolved. I've been working with intraoral scanners since the days of 2008 probably, and the first scanner that I worked with weighed just the tip was a very, very heavy tip. It was 2.5 kilograms, and when you were scanning with that scanner, you can see how your pulse was wiggling a lot, especially when you were scanning 10 patients a day. It became really, really stressful, and also the resolution was also lower, and it was a big machine. It was huge. It was like 80 kilos heavy, and nowadays scanners have become lighter and more accurate, and even cheaper. Another evolution on this technology is that nowadays scanners are because some time ago scanners were only meant for the elite dentists, and they were and only the big companies were developing these items like, I don't know, Strawman or iTero. Right now, there's a big variety of scanners, and well, it's just and also depending on the profile you have on your clinic, you have to be really, really careful on which scanner you use. But nowadays, as you can see in this table, you get scanners that are 150 grams, like the Heron iOS. Then you get Trios, which is 340 grams. You get Medit, which is 276 grams. iTero is one of the heaviest. And also you have other possibilities like color scans, non-color scans, scanners that need powder, scanners that don't need powder. If you take my advice, go for scanners which don't use powder. They are obsolete technology, and they also powder creates distortions in the impressions, and it's also very highly uncomfortable for the patient. Some scanners have a license fee to them. Some scanners don't. So, before buying a scanners, I suggest you do your research and choose the scanner which best fits your clinic or your workflow. More data to compare, and very, very important, is the tips of the scanners. Some scanner tips are sterile. You can sterilize them. Some you can't. Some scanner tips are only one use, so they become really expensive, and other scanner tips can be sterilized. For example, you have numbers like 3-disc. You can sterilize them 250 times. That it's in a normal autoclave program. And then you have others like iTero, which are disposable. and others like Medit, where in which you can only sterilize them 20 times. So overall, a scanner has to make your life easier for you, not more complex or more expensive. Also, and also very important, you have the open system scanners and the closed system scanners. That's the file output. This means that there's a difference between companies who work in a closed environment, which provide you with the scanner, the milling unit, the CAD design, and the production, and you cannot use any other workflow that is out of that closed system. And then, which is the current trend and the way most scanners operate, they work with open system files. This means that once you have your patient scan, you can either send that file to a lab, you can use it in-house for in-house production if you are working with a CAD system that allows that. You can even mill it in your own in-house production. So what I mean by this is that you have the liberty of choosing how you want to work and who do you want to work with if you're working with open system. Well, that was all my presentation for now. And now I would like to show you how an intraoral scanner operates. So I will just reshare my screen. Let me just open the system. And I'll be ready in 1 second. Let me just reshare it. So I open the Heron Clinic software. As you can see, this is what I like about the Heron Clinic. It's a very simple interface, and it really makes the life of the dentist a lot easier. So let's just click on my profile. Let's add a case. This would be the main board for the scanning. Please notice that on your left-hand side, you have the workflow for the restoration. That is, the basic one is scanning the upper, scanning the lower, scanning the bite, and choosing the format of your file and sending it to a lab or exporting it locally. The way labs connect to scanners is by FTP. That means that it's cloud systems. What I do, if I want to send the file directly to a lab which is remote in another location, I just need to scan my file, and at the end of the workflow or at the beginning, you can choose the lab you want to work with. Some dentists use several labs, some dentists use one lab. That's the beauty of the open system. You can choose, for example, if I like how this lab is working with zirconia restorations, I can send the zirconia restorations to that lab in particular. If I like the laser sintering on this lab, I can choose that one also. So let's do a little scan here. I will start, by the way, this is the Heron Clinic. As you can see, it's very small and very light. That's one thing I really like it because, you know, once you've started scanning, the first thing in the morning, your pulse is quite good, but after 8 hours of work, your pulse becomes wiggly. That's why I really much encourage people to find light scanners, which make your life easier. So right now I'm going to scan the upper arch. For that, I will rotate the tip so it's more comfortable for me. if I lose the angle, I don't need to rescan or to turn off the scanner. If you can see, it's still working, and I can just jump to the other arch. Once I think I'm finished, I corroborate that my scan is well done. For that, I need to wait a little bit for it to post-process the file and to make proposals, so I can see the data live and check if the scan is correct. So please give it a minute. Here we go. It looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a couple of tools that I have in mind. That I usually use. Like for example, disabling the color of the file. A color scan is very nice and it's useful for many things. But if I need to validate the quality of the surface of the mesh of the scan of the 3D file, the best thing I can do is disable the color. This way, I can see if the surface of the scanning is correct, and especially if there are no misalignments on the 3D mesh. Also, I can check the definition on the margin lines, and check that there are no unscanned sections. I guess you've noticed the blue spots. Those blue spots are unscanned surfaces. That doesn't mean that the scan is wrong. It just means that I haven't scanned in that particular zone at the moment. If those blue dots are not critical for the restoration or for the outcome of the prosthesis, there is no need to rescan. The system will automatically close those holes, and the file will be okay. But if for example, if you get a blue unscanned surface in a margin line or in a surface that you need to be accurate, all you need to do is rescan. For example, I'm going to cover, let's say, this little dot on the molar. Now again, we need to wait for a little post-processing, and right now it's just stitching the new information to my scanner, to my file. And also, please notice, see, the dot is gone. That's another advantage of using intraoral scanners. There is no need to remake the impression if it's not okay. You can just focus on the surface that is not scanned, or you need to remake. Another tool could be measuring tools. And this is also valid information for the lab. I can send simple measurements just by clicking on the correct tool. For example, my central incisor is 7.0 51 millimeters big. It's a big incisor. I'm a big guy. So that will also give a nice reference for the lab. Okay, once we're happy with our scan, we can move on to the next scan, which is the lower arch. Voila, let's take a look. A little advice, if you do this, make sure you brush your teeth in advance. Usually that's a thing that I learned in a couple of embarrassing moments in exhibitions. You know, you could see the debris of the of the sandwich that you just had. Let's take a look. Okay, again, this would be a good example of a lower arch scan. So again, once we're happy, we just have to move on to the bite. Oh, sorry. I need to wait. I'm too impatient sometimes. As you can see, scanners nowadays have become very easy to handle and very fast. They're no longer meant for people who are really into technology and really into digital. These scanners more and more are developed to make it easy for people who just want to take impressions. When scanning a full arch, it is needed to make two segments of the bite. So now I've done one. I'm gonna take the impression of the opposing bite. Okay, that's it. So once the bite has been aligned, it will make a proposal, and then I will show you some additional tools that you can use in order to verify the bite, and also to make sure that there's, for example, enough space for your restoration. There's even a nice sound when you finish the post-processing. So this would be my bite. I can see now that most likely I've done it wrongly because maybe I moved my jaw while I was taking the bite. So that's why on this region I can see the lower teeth showing. But this is just for you to know what tools you can use. So if you activate the distance map, you will have a very clear view of both the bite, if well taken, and also the space you have for the restoration. And also, if you're an orthodontist, this is also very valuable information if you're doing the regular checkups, in order to see if the bite is really doing what you need it to do. After that, I can click next. Again, it will do a new post-processing, and at the end of this stage, I can create a PDF with all the information regarding the work that I just did, and also choose a file format that you would like to share with the lab or with the in-house system you have, and you're good to go, and you're ready for the next patient. I think we're good on time. So after this, if you'd like to ask some questions, just let me finish the whole workflow, and I'll be glad to answer any requests you have. Okay, still getting there. Okay, so let me just share the final screen. Here we go. This would be the ending of the whole process. This is where you verify that the data is okay. You can choose the lab where to send the restoration, sorry, or the scan file. You can add notes. You can add patient pictures. You can also show the order form on a PDF format. And I'm just going to focus a little bit on the CAD program file formats. This is how an open system works. In 3Disc on the Heron iOS, I can choose between Heron Clinic, ExoCAD, and Dental Wings. The main difference is just the way that the files are arranged. So if my lab is working with an ExoCAD system, it's gonna make their lives easier if I send them the file in an ExoCAD format. And then within the formats, you can choose between STL, which is the most common file format in the industry, and then others between OBJ and PLY. The basic difference between these three formats is that the STL is a raw manufacturing file. So when you send an STL, you are losing the color of the file. It's always better if the lab is working with a CAD/CAM system to send it to them if it's supported in an OBJ or PLY format. This means that the lab will design the framework on top of the OBJ, and then the framework will be transformed into an STL, because that's the main difference. STL is for manufacturing, and OBJ and PLY are design formats. But that's, again, it's an open system. It's mainly up to you to decide which formats fits better your workflow. And by this, that's the end of my presentation. And I would like to know if there are any additional questions or requests. I believe we have couple minutes, so please let me know.